Winter is a time for slowing down, for reflecting on the year before and making plans for the year ahead, and for enjoying the fruits of your labor from the rest of the year, from the busy growing season. And it's a time to cook. And this chicken noodle soup embodies all of those things. So we're going to start with a whole pastured chicken. These are the same chickens that we raise and sell at the farmer's market. And we're going to hit it with some kosher salt and some pepper and chili powder. And it's not quite thawed, but this is going to go back in the fridge and overnight and wait until we're ready for it the next day. So then we're going to add some shallots. We grew these here as well this year, and these were a big hit at the farmer's market. Not many other farmers are growing shallots, so it's fun to find things that other people aren't growing that you can offer at the market. And I'm not removing the skin because the skin is going to add a lot of color and flavor, and all this broth is going to get strained off at the end anyway. And then some little tiny garlic cloves. This is a great use for all those little teeny tiny cloves that you would never want to peel. But again, this is getting strained off, so this is a great application for those. Then I have a singular onion. It was raining and I did not want to go all the way out to the barn to get more onions, so that's all we got for onions, but that's okay. And again, leave the skin on there. It's going to add a lot of color and richness. So add all that in with your chicken. And then I have some fresh celery that's still growing in the garden. It's just cranking it out. And I'm going to add the leaves in there as well. In case you didn't know, celery is closely related to parsley, so it's a really good flavor. Then we're going to cover everything with cold water. The broth making experts say cold water makes your broth clearer at the end, so we're going with cold water. And then I'm going to sprinkle some whole black peppercorns. And I didn't grow those, but I did harvest these bay leaves. This is just California bay laurel that I dried actually a couple years ago now. And then this is all, I'm going to put it on the stove and bring it up to a nice simmer. We don't want to boil this super hard. If you boil it super hard, you'll end up with a cloudy stock. And so just a nice simmer. And then I'm actually going to take this over to the fireplace and put it on the fireplace to cook. So this is going to be the perfect temperature for just low and slow, and let that just hang out. And it's not going to, get up to a huge rolling boil, but then I'm going to leave that there for several hours. In the meantime, I'm going to make my pasta. So I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I didn't have any semolina flour, and that's okay. And then I'm going to add 3 eggs. And it's good practice to crack your eggs in a separate bowl and then add them in there. But these are eggs from our free-range chickens that we have here on the farm. And we have all kinds of different breeds, so we have fun colors. So we're going to add our eggs into the flour, and then I, at this point, forgot to add some olive oil, but that's okay. And then just stir to get the eggs all incorporated. And then I'm making black pepper pasta, so I'm actually going to add a whole bunch of pepper right into the pasta dough itself. And then that's going to give your pasta a really nice black pepper flavor to it. And then we're going to add some cold water and get that incorporated. How much cold water you add, I can't tell you exactly because it's going to vary depending on how old your flour is. Like older flour is going to need more moisture added. Depends on the weather. You just keep adding it until it's making a good dough. And then you want to turn it out onto a flat surface and start kneading. So get in there and get your workout. And this is something I would never have the time to make in the busy summer months. So I love wintertime and getting to cook absolutely delicious meals from scratch. And at this point, I decided I wanted more black pepper in there, and I wanted bigger chunks. And so I got the pepper grinder and added some more black pepper into the dough, and then just keep kneading and keep going. But there's our dough. It's beautiful, and this is going to make so much pasta from just this little bit. So there we go. Then we don't want this to dry out, so we want to get it covered, but instead of using plastic wrap, we can just use the bowl that we mixed it in and just hang out there to rest while we get the roller hooked up. If you were going to roll it out by hand, you would probably want to let it rest for at least an hour, but because we're using the KitchenAid roller attachment, you don't really need to let it rest because the roller will do the work for you. So then you're going to roll it through on the biggest setting first, and then kind of fold it in 3 here, and then pass it through again. And you're going to keep doing this, repeating this process of folding it in 3 and passing it through, and adding some flour as necessary to keep everything from sticking. And this is just going to help with gluten development and give your pasta a nice texture. It's almost like the roller is doing the kneading for you. So yeah, just keep doing that, and then when you feel like it's good, you can turn it down to the next setting, pass it through, and then, you know, make it a little thinner, pass it through again, and just keep repeating that until your pasta is as thin as you want it to be. This is totally up to you and how thin you want your pasta to be. So I'm going to call that good right there for as thin as I want it. And then we're going to get the roller. Oh, wait, just kidding. I apparently did it a little thinner than that. But then after that, we're going to go ahead and take the roller off and then put on the cutter. So this is the fettuccine cutter. And so get that attached on there. There's all kinds of different pasta things you can get for this, and then run your sheets through, and it'll cut your pasta into beautiful, perfect, delicious noodles. And then look at that. Oh my goodness. Making your own pasta at home is so much fun. Anyway, so then I'm gonna put it over here on this stick. It's just a stick. Just to dry out a little bit. The texture's a little bit better if you let it dry a little bit before you cook it. Let's check on our chicken. It has been going on the wood stove for several hours. I don't know how long, but a while. And I wanted to say I intentionally left the breast up out of the water, not just because it wouldn't fit, but I feel like it keeps the breast meat from getting too overcooked. Then we're going to pull this chicken out and set that aside. And it is tender, juicy, delicious. Look at that nice broth. And we're going to set that chicken aside to cool until we can work with it. And then we're going to strain off our chicken broth. And this stuff, let me tell you, the house smells so good. And this is a beautifully rich broth with no store-bought ingredients other than the salt and pepper and the chili powder. Salt, pepper, and everything else in there is homegrown. So that's just super, super satisfying. So get all those big veggies out. Those will not go to waste either. The chickens will love those. And then pour the rest of that broth off into there. And then we'll set that broth aside until we're ready for it. And then our chicken. Get in there with your hands. Don't be shy. And pull all of that good meat off of your chicken, making sure you get as much as you can off of there, and set that aside because we're going to chop that up into bite-sized pieces in just a minute. But look at that beautiful, oh my goodness. And this chicken lived a happy life on pasture in the sunshine and fresh air and only had one bad day in its whole life. So that makes it taste better. And I include the dark meat in my soup as well. I don't just use the breast. I like all the dark meat in there as well. But again, do whatever you want because make it how it tastes good to you. Then I'm going to chunk everything up. I kind of like big chunks in there. So chunk it up however you like it. And I just kind of run the knife back and forth across it. And yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to chop some fresh celery and carrots straight out of the garden. The carrots are hanging on even though it's flooding outside and everything's super wet. We still have a few things growing out in the garden, like the celery, the carrots. There's some random potatoes growing because we haven't even really had a frost yet. But anyway, then we have some lard that I rendered down from our homegrown pigs. If you want to see the video on how I render my lard, I will put a card to that video here. And lard it gets a bad rap, but it's actually really, really good for you, especially when it comes from pastured pigs. It's actually really, really high in vitamin D, and it tastes so good. But I like to get a little bit of brown on my carrots. I just feel like it gives it a little caramelized flavor. And then add your celery and your chicken, and then we're going to pour all that good broth over the top of everything. Oh my goodness. Give that a stir, and then I'm going to add some celery tops just for some fresh green in there, and I have some on the side for chopping later as well. Then we're going to bring that up to a boil so that it's ready for our noodles. So we'll bring our fresh pasta in and get that into our pot, and making sure it has enough room to swim. But just keep adding pasta to your heart's desire. We really like a lot of noodles in there, so here we go. Then you're ready. Once your noodles are soft and cooked, you're ready to plate up and eat. And oh my gosh, you can't buy this in a store or in a can. This is absolutely incredible, and just the perfect, warm, comforting winter food. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like this video if you like this video, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more homestead stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.